Hey, friend, welcome back to the Summit Up podcast, the podcast powered by Summit Salon Business Center. And we're focused on bringing happiness to the beauty industry. I'm your host, Blake Reed Evans. And if you are looking to take your business to the next level, this is going to be the episode for you. We're going to dive into how do you take what you're doing and take it to the next level. And then also talking about teamwork and how a lot of what we do in salon ownership doesn't necessarily need to be done alone. And today I'm joined by the powerhouse team behind so many successful salon companies, as well as the hosts of the Go Ham podcast, Monica, Alicia, and Heather. And we also have their summit coach, Kirsten, and they're salon owners, educators, industry leaders who have built seven-figure businesses, thriving teams, and has a really incredible podcast, just really super unfiltered conversations about leadership and growth. And I'm just so excited to have all of you on the show. And this is our first time having so many people as guests, but welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into just the dynamics of everything that you all have going on. So, I think the first thing, like when I was reading through your websites, like you describe yourselves as like industry pioneers. Can you kind of walk through that journey of like how you went from where you originated in the industry and then where you are today?
Oh, that's a big question, but I think it would start by saying we started this thing 11 years ago with 7 people, and our salon companies have just reached a point where just about at 100. We have 4 co-owners, we have lots of leaders within, and I feel like for us, the journey getting from there to where we're at now has been wild. It's been a wild ride. Thank you, Kirsten, for being such a big part of it. But I feel like we pride ourselves on what we call like unconventional leadership. We outsource a lot of our growth tactics and the way we do things. It's different than I think most, and it has been successful for us. So that's what I would say as a pioneer. That's probably my definition.
That's great. And so, like, some of the unconventional stuff, like, what are some of the things that you would consider unconventional or things that you've outsourced?
Well, I think that we create a space where we want our team members to feel empowered and happy, and we genuinely feel that way. So if there is something going on within, our biggest why is like we want you happy, whether it's with or without us, whether it's in the industry or not. We really are focused on making sure that people are happy and empowered, and I feel like that has always served us really well. It's allowed us to have a really open dialect. Um, I think that even when I think about our growth, the way that we lead allowed our team members, like Alicia, who became a partner in 2018, she felt the confidence and the trust to be able to come to us and say, I think I want to go out on my own. I want to open up a salon. Would you guys be interested? Like, she wasn't afraid to have those conversations where I feel like a lot of salon companies, the way that I guess they build their company, sometimes employees or team members feel intimidated by, their ideas and aspirations, and they don't want to be able to, they're not able to come to leadership with that. So
Hmm.
we've really prided ourselves on that. Like we want everybody to pursue happiness and growth and dreams, whatever that looks like. But I think within our own team, it's been a powerhouse because they come to us and they typically are very open, and sometimes we get involved, sometimes we don't. But I think that that's essentially what has allowed us to get to where we are today.
Well, I'm excited to hear about the fact that there was safety in leadership. So, whenever you were joining in 2018 as a shareholder, what was happening in the business that made you feel safe to be able to join?
I think what Privé does really well and really different, I think a lot of companies like run their business on, making all their customers happy and all their clients happy, where it was like Privé, it was like, we want to make our team happy first, and then we're going to our team's going to take care of the people. So I think just being able to know that no matter what I came to them with, they were always down to have a conversation. And, if they weren't down, then they weren't down, and I tried. But I feel like there was just always that mantra of like, we're going to take care of our people no matter what. And
Hmm.
that's kind of what gave me the space to be able to do that.
That makes me so happy to hear because I think that like so so often a common misconception about summit salons is that we actually only care about like numbers and only about the customer, and like that's just not true. Like of course we care about the customer, of course we care about the numbers, but like we care about the humans more. And I love that you're talking about that. Kirsten, I'm interested, like how did you implement that? Like did they come like preset with that mindset whenever you started coaching them? Like did they have that mindset? Did you bring that to the table? I'm interested about how that's integrated.
I, so I think you guys set that story up perfectly in the sense that there's never been a fear in their employees coming to them to say, hey, I'm looking for something different. Hey, what other opportunities are there to grow?
Hmm.
And just organically working with these guys, it the opportunities have just kind of fallen in their laps. I hate to say that, but they're putting so much positivity out there into the world with their staff and with their people that their team just wants to be a part of it. They want to be a part of the bigger picture. And so it's been relatively easy, I would say. And I say that with caution because there's all sorts of trials and tribulations in there. But because their culture is so strong, it's a very collaborative experience. And this team has no fear in dipping their toes into the unknown. We've walked through wild and crazy ideas over the last 10 years, but what these guys don't do is ever say no.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's let me look into that, let me think about that. Sometimes it's let me call Kirsten before I give you an
it
answer.
is.
But they never say no, even when the answer is going to be no. And I know that that builds a lot of credibility with their team. So it's a unique and a beautiful culture. And over the years, just seeing the different owners like Alicia and some of the others come to the table has been really fun to watch. So thank you guys for letting me be a part of all the crazy conversations.
Well, Kirsten, can I touch on what you just said? Because I was going to say I think one of the biggest things that gives us the confidence and has built to where we are today is the fact that we're pretty fierce. Like we're fierce leaders in the sense that we're not afraid to fail. Like, that's just, it's not an option for us. We're not going to fail. We know that, but we're not afraid to put ourselves out there and try something, knowing that that could always be a possibility. And I just think that we have so much support around us and for each other and have just, have some incredible mentors that guide us along the way. And it just gives us that confidence. So having, no fear and not afraid to fail has really, pushed us so far in this journey.
I
Well, sure.
Great. Um, where was I?
So wait, just to clarify on that, before I speak, I should say Monica.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. So one of the big things that happens with salon owners is that they often are kind of in firefighter mode, where they feel like they're doing everything by themselves, and everyone's laughing because we all know exactly. We probably have been there, first of all, but also we know what it's like to feel lonely. But the one thing that I do know for sure is that, particularly in this industry, we're not meant to do this alone, right? And I actually, honestly, as a human, I don't think that as humans we're meant to do anything alone. We're meant to do stuff together. And so how did this formation come to be, where you have all these really incredible individuals, and how did you start putting everything together? Because you don't build like 3 commission salons and a suite company without being super strategic. So how did you put the Transformer or Power Ranger together?
So this is Monica. I would say that it's actually an interesting story because when we started this business back in the day, Heather and I are sisters, for those that don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my idea. I was the one in the industry. I wanted to open a salon, and Heather and I were starting to kind of talk about a partnership. And our dad was very hesitant about that. He was, very nervous. He's a entrepreneur, small business owner. he's independent, he doesn't have partners, and he did not like the idea of a partnership because he was worried, like this can tear you down, this can tear you apart. It's something that you really have to think strong and hard about, and there has to be lots of strategy in place. So with that thought, we kind of knew that, there's power behind a partnership, but there's also a lot of things that need to be, spoken about and really clear in the very beginning. So with that, we've kind of understood that, and over the years have embraced that. And it's an ongoing thing. This company is evolving. The roles change constantly. Like Kirsten, how many times are we doing a task
charts.
org charts? Yeah, trying to
Job
figure out who's
descriptions.
responsible for what, but having real clarity behind the roles and understanding who's going to be handling what and who's responsible for what. I think that really helps. And then each time we bring a new partner in, there's serious value that they're bringing. It's not just that, they're investing or they're becoming, a silent partner or an angel investor. It's never about that for us. It's always about, you're an incredible person. You've become such a huge part of this team and you bring a lot of value. So in our partnerships, each of us have things that we're really good at, and those are typically the things that we bring to the table, which I think has been a huge part of how we've gotten as big as we've gotten, because we just keep bringing in really incredible partners who have a lot to offer. And then I would also say to that basically we're servant leaders, like in our role, we are basically here to serve the team, and we are very accountable. We're aware of when we mess up, we acknowledge that, and we, shift gears and try to figure out how we're going to do it better. But I feel like having partners involved has allowed us to just have really strong conversations. We have them often, we have them all the time. Our mornings typically start there, and those are the powerful times where our company pivots. Like, I would like to say that I think that these big meetings that we have, Kirsten, you're always a part of our growth, but I would like to say that's when the big giant things happen, but it's typically just in like daily conversations when we talk about our struggles, and when we know that the struggle just keeps coming up every day, these fires that we're putting out every single day. But when we know that there's one that just continues to come up, in those conversations that we have with our partners daily is typically when we find the solution. So does that answer the question? I hope.
Yeah, it definitely does. Now, I'm interested too, like, Alicia, like when you joined the salon company, like, did you know that this path was even an option for you, or was it something that you learned as time went on?
Full disclosure, I never wanted to be a salon owner. I always say this. They kind of duped me into it. No, I'm just kidding. But I think when I got the opportunity to coach an apprentice and be a part of the mentor program, that's when I kind of like found a new passion in like growing people. And do I think that it would be the extent that it is now? No, but I'm very thankful for the opportunity and like all of the growth that we had with all of the people that have joined our company. But in the beginning, I feel like leadership was like really hard for me. Like I feel like it comes really naturally to Monica and Heather, just because I'm like super transactional sometimes. So leadership, it's hard, and I feel like if you're not constantly working that muscle and like putting in the work, like you're gonna struggle. So it's just like anything, just like finding resources and kind of like reevaluating every situation that you're in and kind of learning from your mistakes. But yeah, I'm very thankful for the opportunity for sure.
Awesome. And then who handles hiring in the organization, even if it's just like the first or second step?
We do.
Yeah, like, is it just like a team effort, like depending on the location?
Yeah, we like to
Okay,
screen
cool.
everyone for the most part, just because we've had situations in the past. I know it's not ideal, but at least do like a Zoom interview or meet
Yeah.
them at a shadow shift or something like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a pre question, because so when you build a team of like almost 100 people, if not literally 100 people, it's hard to control that culture. And like, in our salon company, we're up to 70 now, and the bigger we get, the bigger the headaches get of like, you have different camps of people, we have an overarching culture that we were really trying to make sure that we take care of. So I can empathize with that process. What does that process look like of hiring somebody and trying to vet somebody and to make sure that you don't let a snake into your garden?
This is Heather. Full disclosure, Blake, I just want to say this before we get into it. I am not part of the hiring,
Okay.
and I have no problem admitting I'm not good at that. I am a leader with compassion, and I really struggle, screening people because I try to see the good in everyone and think that everybody deserves a chance, and sometimes that doesn't serve us well. So I have stepped back from the hiring process. So Mon and Alicia are your girls in this question.
Great. Well, Heather, I mean, that's awesome because that means that you're the person that they can send to when someone's having a crisis. Because, like, I'm super. The older I get, the less like empathetic I become and more sympathetic. Just to
Yeah.
kind of lessen the emotional roller coaster for myself
Yes.
with people. But I think that that's a great skill set. I think those people skills are so important. But you're right, though,
Yes.
during a hiring process, when someone's
Not good for me.
yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So yeah, so Alicia, Monica, like, so that hiring process, like, what are some of the things that you do to make sure that you're hiring the right person for the organization?
You want to answer this, Leash?
I will say you got to let a lot of snakes in first before you learn how to not let them in anymore.
It's true. It's true.
I will say that, I mean, listen, hiring, this is Monica, by the way. Hiring's very difficult. And luckily for our salon company, we have hit a point where we have enough people applying. We were in a position where we were hiring out of desperation, and that was chaos. Like, it was so hard because you so desperately wanted every single person to be the right fit because you needed apprentices or you needed front desk, and that situation is very difficult. So while that was going on, I think we've really honed in on our culture, and also our social media marketing was where we kind of just started to show our team and what it was like to work for our company versus constantly showing hair pictures and of our work. And I think that when we shifted into that area where we started to kind of show what it's like to be a part of our salon company, then we started to get a steady flow of applications coming in that, really helped us. But I will say that we fire fast. Like, I don't want to say that, like, meaning it, I know it sounds negative, but basically I would say that we're very comfortable with things not working out. And that's something that we lean into. And listen, this is something that we've seen in 11 years open. People grow with your company. They're in really great seasons. They're a really great part of it. And then they hit a point where maybe you're just no longer the right fit or they're not the right fit for you. And although that's very difficult to grasp at times because you have personal relationships with people and it's very hard, we have gotten so comfortable with that idea that when you no longer are a good fit for us or we're no longer a good fit for you, it's time for us to kind of go our separate ways. And that has allowed us to maintain and protect our culture because the people that we want within our four walls are people who we want a part of our culture, aligned with our values, and are showing up every day as the team member that you need. So I think that's part of it, is that definitely, like, when there is a situation where somebody isn't a good fit or you're not a good fit, it's time for that to pretty much end and let them go wherever it is that they're going to feel fulfilled.
And if I could just add, this is Alicia. We involve our team a lot in a lot of the big decisions that we make, and involving them with that process has been super helpful because I think when you give them a choice and like they feel empowered to protect the company and the culture when they meet the person that is like shadowing to see if they're a good fit, they're going to be more inclined to tell you like she was really quiet, or she didn't really ask too many questions about the company. She was more worried about like getting on the floor. Just like give you some red flags that are super helpful and can really, save you from having to let somebody go after you hire them.
Yeah, that's incredible. Kirsten, what are some elements that you like encourage within them to really make sure that they were also moving forward and making sure that they were also making some decisions when it came to this growth phase? Because to go in 11 years from 7 to 100 is like not a easy feat. So what roles or suggestions did you make along the way?
So I believe that the conversations first started when we hit the first million in the original location. I think we had that awareness sitting next door in Starbucks, if I remember. And it was just a conversation of, hey, Alicia approached us. Hey, Dana approached us. And just other people coming to them and saying, I want to do something. And knowing that these guys never say no, it literally just became a math project.
Mm.
What do we need to do in location one? How much do we need to stay in location one? What do we need to grow to then maybe peel off into location two? So it was just putting together the framework to say, if this is what we're going to do, here's how it needs to be done. And knowing that information in advance has allowed them to do all of these projects where I can say as a coach, a lot of times when we work with salons that have multiple locations, um, they're each separate. They're afterthoughts, if you will. We opened the second one without realizing what we needed in the first one to kind of
Yeah.
take care of it. So it was easy to do. Now, I say that with a lot of caveats in there. It was easy to do in that sense because we had the information. We knew what needed to be done. And it was just a matter of how much is that going to cost? When do we need to be able to get there in the timeline? And is it a reality? There have been some times when we've done that, and yes, it became a reality. There were other conversations we've had where it didn't become a reality.
Mhm.
So it's just having the acumen, I believe, to know what it is that you want to get into, but then making sure that you're still taking care of where you came from. And that's not always the case. So these guys have had that framework defined for themselves very well in each of these adventures. We see the challenges before they happen. We know how many people we need to have to open a location to be able to net this amount of profit before they open the doors. And that's never been something that in my experience, salon owners have either known they needed before they get to that second location, let alone have that information. So it's
Mm.
the planning and the awareness and it's the numbers. Without that fact, excuse me, without those facts, you're not going to get it to become a reality.
Yeah, well, and I love that you're talking about it because I cannot tell you how many times I meet people and they're like, I just feel like we're ready for a second location. And it was like, your feelings do not matter in this this moment. Like,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, first of all, like how much money is going to walk out the door when you have a search writer go to the other location? Like you got to take that in consideration.
Mhm.
So I it's so funny. So Kirsten, I love that you bring that up because like that's where the math is going to save you. That's where the algorithm of that part of it is going to help make sure that you're safe whenever you do expand. Because I love that fearless jump, but but you can't jump if there's rocks at the bottom of that cliff. So, but yeah, so I love that you're talking about that now. I want to talk about now, like when you're developing your service providers, because on your podcast you talk a lot about having service providers that are taking home like $200,000 a year. Like that is freaking impressive, and I love that this is becoming more and more normalized, getting towards that number because this is kind of my like spicy hot take on the industry that we need to stop saying I want to earn $100,000 a year because with the way things are in today's society, it's just like to have a big life to do really big things. $100,000 isn't cutting it these days. So I love that you're talking about these like $200,000 take home stylists. So what goes into the development for someone to get to that point?
Oh, well, this is Monica. This is like, this is still to this day, like the thing that excites me. Like you just saw me light up because like knowing that like we have team members within our company that work 2 days a week, 2 11-hour days. I wouldn't say they're 6-hour days, but 2 11-hour days a week. And they're coming home with 150 to $200,000
Yeah.
a year. My husband still is like, I'm sorry, what? Like, how is
Yeah,
this
yeah,
happening?
buddy, you picked the
Like,
wrong profession.
it's wild. It's wild, but it's real, and
Yeah.
that's what I think that I don't know how we got here. Kirsten, you're probably a huge part of it. Um, But I think about the things that used to really like knock our socks off and really blow us away in regard to the financials in this industry and what our company's doing and what our team is doing. It's now like, oh my God, like I don't even, I mean, it's insane because you don't want to brag and that's never what we're trying to do. But I think what we're simply trying to do is inspire people to know like it's
Yeah.
real, like this is happening and it's doable. And I think that our team members, our younger team members see it and feel like it's within reach. You know, at some point they're going to get to this level. Our stylists that are doing it, and the simple answer is that they care deeply about what they do and the impact they have on their clients, period.
Hmm.
That is the answer. Like they are so connected to their clients at that level, that they have a wait list to get in with them, and they're nervous about raising their prices because they don't want people to leave them. There's a deep emotional connection that happens when you hit that point, that people are so invested in you, and you've had this long relationship, and I feel like something we talked about, we had Daniel Mason Jones on our podcast the other day, and he nailed it on the head. He said, every time I mention what I do behind a chair, or that I see 18 guests a day or 30 guests a day, I think he sees like 30 guests a
This is like
day,
30.
which is insane because
Yeah.
our stylists are seeing between 18 and 20, the ones that are doing, these astronomical amounts.
Yeah.
But he's doing 30 guests a day. He said, I always get the kickback of how are you connecting with these people? Like, how do you still have a connection? And he's like, well, clearly I do if they're still coming back to me. And that's the answer. And I feel like sometimes our stylists get like that imposter syndrome and they worry about that, like I'm doing so much. I'm working with 2 assistants. I worry that I'm not seeing, like I'm not connecting with my people, but I am like, believe me, you are connecting with your people. Like they are so committed to you at this point in your career. And they do such a phenomenal job of making sure that their clients feel heard, taken care of, happy. Like this is what they're so focused on at that level. And I think that is essentially what gets them to that point. So I hope that answers you.
Yeah. And then on the flip side of it, Heather, I'm interested with you being the feelings person. I love it because in every ecosystem, there's going to be your of course your top 20, bottom 80 situation. And so in every ecosystem, you have these people who they may not strive to hit $200,000 and take home. Like how do you all like foster those individuals that like it's still necessary for a salon company to exist? So what does fostering those individuals look like?
So this is Heather. So the best answer I can give for what you just asked is this is the mom in me coming out because I do believe that it's all in your mindset. I think that, if they're coming to us and they're not hitting their goals and they're not getting that and seeing a $200,000 salary is just so far out of reach for them, I think it's really just helping them to reset their minds and know, like, this isn't something that's going to come easy. You can look at every stylist within our company that has been there and even outside of our company that are doing phenomenal numbers. And it's grit, it's the grind, it's the dedication. And, if you're not there in that moment, that's okay. But, you need to get there to actually get yourself to the level of one of these other stylists. It's not, like I said, it's not easy. And sometimes it's a lot on us as mentors trying to, get into someone's own head and try to reshape their mindset. But that's what we're here for. And I feel like we do a really good job within our team. We're always supportive. We're, every one of our partners, Alicia, Monica, Dana, now we have Nicole at Sesh. We're all present in the salon every day. So they can come to us at any time. And we always make ourselves available outside of the salon too. Like if they need to set up a time that we're not in, we'll always accommodate them to be there and to help guide them however we can. We give them, we give them systems, and Kirsten's a huge part of that. And we kind of just give them the tools. They, we're the instruments for them. They just have to play it. So
That's awesome. Because the other side of this that I also want us to talk about is you not only own 3 commission salon companies, but you also own a suite salon company as well. And so are a suite company. What is the correct term for that? Suite company?
Facilities.
Sweet facility.
Salon suites. Well, we can't say salons. Not everything's a salon in there.
Yeah, I know. It's sweet company. I don't
Yeah.
know. Kirsten, we need to workshop that one. um,
Right?
yeah.
Let's chat GPT it.
Yeah. But okay, so you have three commissioned salon companies, and then you also have a sweet facility. What does that pipeline look like? Because we've had someone on the show before where they actually allow it to be a true pipeline. Like if someone's ready to leave to go to a suite,
Mhm.
they're like, by the way, you could just go around the corner and we have that option for you. Is that kind of what the business model is like for those people who are ready to take the leap?
Ugh. Well, this is Monica. I'll start by saying opening the suite facility was probably the most bold and insane, risky thing that we've ever done. I can still remember coming back and like having our first meeting with Kirsten after we made this decision that we were going to do it. And I think all of us were like, how's this going to go? But basically, I would say that it is. It's an option for everybody within our companies.
Right.
And it's very open. You know, right now we have one suite available, and we have 3 salons and an aesthetic studio that we just opened, and none of them are going, which is interesting. But I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's an open door, and that is essentially why we did open in the first place. It was right after 2020, like mid-COVID, when these decisions started to happen. So there was a draw to the suite facility just because it was more personal and not quite as open and, you know, scary with all of the COVID things that were happening. But basically, we knew, you know, this is going to be an opportunity. We're opening to our entire team. Some people are going to choose to go. Did it hurt? Sure. Like it did. Like it's hard when you're losing people. Even we were losing them to ourselves, which was funny, but it stinks. Like you love these people so much and they're within your salon company and then they choose to go independent, which we support 100%. And because I can say from my own experience in the past, if suites were open or available in the Philadelphia area in 2014, when I opened a salon, I probably would have been in a suite. I never would have did what I did. So I fully understand that drive to go independent and be on your own. And I would never, you know, come down on somebody or look at it as a negative because it's not. It's a different avenue within our industry. But yeah, that's definitely an option for anybody within our company. Most of the time they are full. So if there was someone that wanted to get into it, it would be very important within our company to just have a conversation with us ahead of time so that we, you know, when one is becoming available, they would be able to get the priority. So yeah.
Well, I think that it does speak volumes because honestly, if someone wanted to quit you, and when I say you, the organization, they wouldn't go to suites that you owned. So, you know, that goes to show that like they like you, but they are ready to test the waters of being their own boss, you know? And I think that does speak volumes that they're willing to go from one to the other. Because when I talked to the Chesbros up in Rochester, New York, they have a similar setup. And if they didn't like you, they wouldn't pick a company you own. You know, they would fully depart. And not saying like every person who fully departs doesn't like you, but it does speak volumes into the setup. Kirsten, I want to jump into that element of it because I think that, you know, obviously Summit, we're known for commissioned salon companies. We do have for independent style or independent service providers, we do have a division to help with that. What did that look like on your end of whenever they're like, we want to do suites?
So it was actually really funny to what Monica said. We came into a meeting and it was literally, hey, we just want to let you know that we're opening up a suite. And they just all kind of stared at me. And I don't know if you guys thought I was going to walk out the door or what, but it was another one of those situations of, okay, let's look at this opportunity.
Yeah.
What does this look like? What do we need to do? Let's run the numbers. Is it feasible? And again, just did not say no. It's an opportunity and let's look at it. What is very unique, though, about what they did that I don't think has been mentioned is the suite location is right next door to their original commission salon. So
That
their
was going to be my
flagship.
follow-up question.
Yep. So, it's interesting in the sense that they moved, but they really didn't move. So they still get to stay and be a part of that Privé culture in a sense, which for the people in this company, they're very loyal and they very much look and appreciate that from their owners. But what was interesting is when we had the conversation and figured out that this could work, we started to then think about who might go. What revenue from this location might become suite revenue? How do we need to mitigate that? And while some people did move to the suites, a lot of the people that I think you guys all thought would want to take that offer and that opportunity didn't, because they wanted to stay a part of you guys inside your four walls. So, the how was simple in the sense of, let's see where the money is, let's see what those numbers look like, and then do we have that culture that we can then preserve by opening this suite location without sacrificing what we originally built. So just the fact that it was next door, the fact that not a lot of people ended up leaving like I think we were planning to, it just really puts a unique situation for them, because it's that culture piece that has gotten these guys to where they are. So whether they are in, the lash studios, whether they are in the commission salons, or whether they are in, the whatever we decide to call it, the rental salon, they're still a part of Privé. And that's sacred to them, meaning the staff. And I don't think we see that level of trust in employer and employee, relationships enough.
Well, and also like it would make sense that your person who's taking home, 150,000 a year working 2 shifts, like I wouldn't want to. I would never want to leave that. I would never go to a suite. It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
So you're going to hold on to those people where if commission and good culture and all that works for them, they're going to stay. Like it would not make any sense to me to jump to a suite whenever you have that perfect work-life integration. So I love that you talk about that. Now with your suite renters, do they get to participate in the education that Privé puts on?
So it's interesting because this is Monica. We have invited them to a few events, but I would say no. We typically keep it separate. Our team's so large that, I mean, we have to rent out like hotels to
Right.
accommodate an event for 100 people. So it's almost like it's too much to add any more people to it. Now, if there was an opportunity, and I think we have had this several times where we were doing a class, maybe a smaller size, and we had some availability, they're always, yes, they're invited to that. But it's not something that happens often, mostly because we just can't accommodate additional people when we have an event that's going to be focused on the team.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so when you say like, I love that. I love the name of the podcast. I love that it's called Go Ham, and even on your website it says "Go hard as a mother with us." That's super bold. Like, what does that mean though for you? Like in terms of business, like I like it. I like the grittiness to it, and I know you've mentioned grit before, but like what does that mean for you to go?
Can
To
I
go ham
speak
in
on this,
business?
guys?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can I speak on this? So it's actually interesting when we were trying to figure out. This is Heather, by the way. When we were trying to figure out the, perfect name for our podcast, we spent a lot of time. We were writing down different things, sending them to each other, and it just didn't seem fitting. And then one day we came up with Go Ham, which it was actually inspired from what was that called?
A cameo.
That we did. A cameo. A cameo was sent to me, Monica, and Alicia. And it was just to inspire us as business people. And inside the cameo, the man said, I
No,
want a
not
ham
the man.
sandwich.
I'm sorry. You have to say who it was.
What?
We have to say who it was.
Oh, he was a Donald Trump impersonator.
No, it was Kyle from Summer House.
So then,
Oh, it was that one? Am I getting this all wrong? Okay.
You're definitely
So,
getting this wrong. It was Kyle from Summer House.
and he said, I would love to have a ham sandwich, meaning Heather, Alicia, Monica. And with that, we thought it was like so off the wall. We're like, this is crazy, you know? But then we started like saying, oh, we can go ham. Heather, Alicia, Monica, go ham with us. Like, you get to spend time with us. Well, I had no idea that there was another meaning behind go ham. And I'm at home one night cooking dinner, and my kids are there and they're teenagers. And I'm like, oh, guess what? We ended up naming our podcast. And they were like, what, Mom? And I was like, go ham. And if I could just show you
Yeah.
the faces my kids made, like it was the most disgust, like cringe, and I'm like, what's wrong with that? And I'm thinking it's Heather, Alicia, Monica, like not thinking anything of it. And they're like, oh my god, you're ridiculous, you don't even know the name, like there's a song. And they start telling me about it, and the more they're telling me about the other meaning behind it, I'm like, well, this makes total sense for us. Like, we do this every single day in our lives, you know, in the salons. Like, now I really want this to be our name. So I did go back to Monica and Alicia, and I told them, and they had already known that. I just was the one out that had no idea there was a song.
You're showing your age, sis.
I'm showing my age for sure, but I just think it was so interesting that that really wasn't the number one intent behind it. It was Heather, Alicia, Monica.
I love that. So when it comes to business, like how do you all implement that? Like whenever you say you do things like fearlessly, like what does that actually mean? Like whenever you take the jump and you go for it, you even if it's unconventional.
Well, don't ask me, because I'm usually the one that's like, okay, here's a million reasons why it won't work, or this is Alicia, by the way, or it will work.
But Alicia, I will say that like one of my favorite people to have on a team is what I refer to as like a hole poker, because you're gonna poke the holes in the dream a little bit in a way that's gonna be it's gonna save us in the long run of like, because there's someone on our shareholder team that will poke holes in pretty much every idea that we have, and I've grown to really love that because I would probably say I'm like part dreamer, part hole poker. It just depends on how you catch me. But like when you have someone that is a dreamer, like you need that person to keep you balanced. So I think that that's good. As long as it's not like overly negative, I think it can be one of the most helpful things to have on a team. So I will say in your defense, Alicia,
I'm a poker.
pro poke the holes, because then it makes the team stronger. You know, like I think that part, I think that people who poke holes get a bad rap, but like honestly, it's probably one of the most necessary things, particularly when you have a business. So yeah, so that's my argument for that. But when you go to take that leap, like what does that look like?
So this is Heather. For us to be like these fearless leaders, honestly, I think that Alicia being the poker is probably the best thing and allows us to be the way we are, because we're not afraid to like take these crazy leaps and not have any fear, because we know Alicia is going to reel us back in.
I'm the air
And if it's like
Between
too
Alicia and
far-fetched,
Kirsten, you know, like
yes,
Kirsten's
Kirsten
like,
too.
hello, the numbers, we need to make sure that this math model works. And then, you know,
Yes.
so I can see you've got a good
Yeah.
setup here. This dynamic makes more and more sense as
And
the interview
that's
goes
just
on.
it. It's
Yeah.
the beauty of the partnership. We all
Yeah.
complement each other, and we know each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I just think that, you know, if I come to the table with some idea, like if it gets shut down, oh well, like okay, there's a reason why. And sometimes it doesn't, and it's like this is an amazing thing and we can run with it. But I know Alicia is definitely one out of the 5 of us at this point that basically likes to keep it real and bring us back down.
Yeah, usually if we all agree, we know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good point. Yeah. Like that one is like, okay, done. Like we're ready to roll.
Mhm.
Okay. So I want to hear from each of you on this. So if you could just keep your answer to like, you know, like 2 sentences or less, but like for stylists specifically, we'll do this round first. For stylists specifically who are listening, what's like one mindset shift that they could use to be able to really help them level up? Because I think that success really is a decision. It's a daily decision, in my opinion. So what's something that somebody could do in their day-to-day as a service provider specifically to be able to help level up?
This is Heather. I have my answer for you. I think one of the best things you can do to help level up is to really figure out your why. Like, evaluate your life and really, dive deep into why and what your purpose is and why you're, in a salon and in this industry to begin with, and, fall in love with that why and just, go for it every day. And I think that will help you level up for sure.
Love that. This is Alicia, and I think the best skill you can ever develop is your ability to stay in like a good mood and a good mindset no matter what. Because I think it's pretty easy, especially in this industry when you're dealing with people, and sometimes you're dealing with, some crazy people. If you can, deal with situations but not let them ruin your entire day, then you're going to be successful no matter what.
This is Monica. I'll piggyback off of that because I feel that mindset and the way you start your day is the most powerful thing for anybody. Is this a stylist, salon owner, stay-at-home mom? Like, I think the first hour of your day, however that's spent, even half hour for me right now, because I have 4 kids and 100 businesses and I don't have time, but the first 30 minutes of my day is what shapes every single day. And if I can start that, whether it's with exercise or gratitude or meditation or prayer, whatever it is that serves you, I think that that is what gets your mindset right to have a good day. If you don't have that, where you're going into the day prepared, it can really quickly go sideways and everything can kind of shut down. So in my opinion, that the first 30 minutes of your day is the most important part.
So I wrote down dare to dream. And I think that that kind of stands on the shoulders of what Heather was saying. This is Kirsten, by the way, of knowing your why. I think we see a lot of stylists, whether they are veterans or new to the industry, that don't know what they're striving to achieve. They're going through the motions of the day to day, but not really looking at what their objective is to get there. And I know I will find sometimes as a coach, the missing link for them is that piece exactly. If they don't know what they're growing to achieve, they're not growing. Or if they are growing, it is at such a small rate that it does not matter because they don't see that finish line. So daring to dream and helping them understand that dreaming is how we achieve our successes today. So knowing their why and daring to dream, and that it's okay, giving yourself permission to do that.
Amazing. Well, where, for our friends listening, where can they connect with Go Ham Podcast or Privé Salon?
Go ahead, Leash. You know this best.
They can connect with us on Instagram. We are the Go Ham at the Go Ham Podcast. We also have a website with some resources on there, gohampod.com. And then our salon is at Privé Salons on Instagram and privésalonco.com.
You forgot about TikTok.
Oh, and TikTok. Go Ham Podcast, the Go Ham Podcast.
Great. And then, Kirsten, for those looking for a coach, how can they connect with you?
Yep. The easiest way is my email address. It's just knemer, KNEMER @summitsalon.com. And you can find my biography and everybody else we have in the company on our website at summitsalon.com.
Beautiful. Well, before we get to our final question, I just want to thank all of you for your energy, your insight, and everything that you talked about, because it was really insightful and it was awesome to watch, to learn really about how all this came together. And I'm excited to see what all of you are up to next. But with that said, it's our signature question. What does happiness mean to you?
Who's going first?
You can go ahead.
Oh, okay. Put me on the spot. Okay, so this is Heather. Happiness to me, it's a lot of things. And I know a lot of people say it's the simple things in life that make you happy, and that's very true. But for me, I feel like what makes me happiest is knowing my purpose, and also knowing, like, finding peace, like spending time with my family, surrounding myself around inspirational people like my partners and my team, having the support from my husband and, like I said, family and friends. But I think at the end of the day, one of the things that really contributes to my happiness is knowing that, I have a strong faith, and just knowing that there's a higher power, that no matter what my days look like or how successful or chaotic they may be, you know, I always have that higher power and my faith to lean on that's going to help me get through.
Yeah, this is Lisa, sorry. Purpose is a big one for me, and just like loving what I'm doing every day. I know everybody has hard days and there's going to be days that are tough to get through, but if you can, bring it back to the purpose and also like connections, just like connecting with my kids, connecting with the people that I work with, and just like investing myself in them, is a big part of making me happy. So,
Yep. Well, this is Monica, and you guys took all the good ones, so I'm just kidding. But basically, I'll keep it simple. I think that for me, happiness means positivity, purpose, impact. Those three things are pretty much what's fulfilling me. Fulfilled, being fulfilled, feeling aligned. That is happiness for me. And I find that through positively impacting people and those around me and things like that. So,
Yeah.
This is Kirsten, and I'll say that what makes me happy is freedom. Whether that is freedom of time to do the things I love, freedom to spend time with the people, that I love. And what I will say is, just as a coach, specifically with you three, what makes me the happiest is knowing that when we all first met, we all had 0 kids. We all had 0 kids, right? I mean, Heather, you have your boys, but from all the
Yeah.
little kiddos, including myself, that came. And what made me the happiest is one day, I can't remember when it was, but it was like 4 or 5 of the kiddos like running around. And I remember very clearly saying, "We are building your empire," to the
Yeah.
kids. And just being like, damn, it was just a damn moment, if that makes sense. But just literally seeing that next generation running around the room. And I think my daughter was even there as well too when we did a podcast once. But it was just seeing that generation and literally saying to, I can't remember who it was, "Mommy is building your legacy." And that was just the cool, I got goosebumps from it right now. That was just the coolest thing to see that and experience with you guys. So it's the freedom that allows me to see things like that, which without this organization, I don't know if it would be here. So that's what makes me happy: freedom and building legacies for the next generations.
Beautiful. And thank you all so much for joining us. It really does mean a lot that you took time to hang out with us. So thank you for being here. Thank you, friend, for listening. And if you love this episode, please take a moment to share it with a colleague or a friend or a coworker. And if you really loved it, take a moment to rate and review us wherever you are streaming us from. But we will talk to you next time.
Wow. Thank you, Blake. Thank